The stars had gone quiet. Lieutenant Commander Alina Ray sat inside the command bridge of the ISS Valor, staring at the blinking red light on the console. It was a distress signal weak, broken, and fading. The message came from the edge of known space, deep within the Terralith region. "Play it again," Alina said. Her voice steady but tense. The comms officer tapped the control panel. A distorted voice crackled through the speaker. "This is Terralith outpost. Betrayed. Not safe. They coming. Tell Earth." The signal ended in static. The room fell silent. Captain Drex, a tall, older officer with sharp eyes, walked in. "That came from Arcos 3, he said, frowning. "The Terralith colony. We've had peace with the Terraliths for years," Alina said quietly. "Why would they send that?" "That's what scares me," Drex replied. 3 hours later, in Earth's capital, the United Terran Council gathered in a secure underground chamber. 12 leaders from various nations and colonies sat around a glowing circular table. The message was played again. One council member slammed his fist on the table. "It's obvious. Someone betrayed the Terraliths, but who?" asked another. "And why would they target a peaceful race?" General Voss, Earth's top military strategist, stepped forward. "The Zervani Empire," he said coldly. "They've been moving warships near Terralith space for months. We sent warnings, they ignored us. We can't start a war based on guesses," the Terran president said. "Not without proof. And what if that delay costs millions of lives?" General Voss snapped. Silence followed. Finally, the president spoke. "Send a scout ship, quiet, fast, no weapons, just observe." The scout ship Silent Wind launched within 24 hours. It was small, stealth-capable, and crewed by only 5 people. Their mission: reach Arcos 3, confirm what happened, and return without being seen. Alina watched from orbit as the ship disappeared into the stars. "Do you think they'll make it back?" asked her engineer. She didn't answer. 7 days later, Earth lost contact with Silent Wind. No message. No signal, nothing. Still no trace? Alina asked the communications officer on the ISS Valor. "Nothing, Commander. It's like they vanished." She turned toward the captain. "We have to assume the worst," agreed, Drex said. "But without proof, Earth won't act." "We need to get proof," she whispered. Back on Earth, the council was divided. "They walked into a trap," General Voss said. "We should have sent a warship, not a shuttle." "Still no clear enemy," the president said. "Still no war." But that night, everything changed. At 3:19 Earth Standard Time, a new transmission came in, uncoded, open, unmistakably human. It was the final log from the Silent Wind. "This is Commander Elias Grant. Silent Wind. Terralith cities burning. Zervani ships in orbit. They aren't helping. They're leading the attack. Terralith children executed. Traps set for humans. Run. Tell Earth don't trust." Explosion heard. Screaming. Silenced. The council watched in horror, faces pale. No one moved. "They were allies," someone whispered. "Not anymore," said General Voss. 3 hours later, Earth declared a level red alert. Fleet Command was mobilized. Every major city went into lockdown. Orbital shields activated. And, for the first time in 20 years, Earth prepared for war. But it wasn't just Earth. Across the galaxy, human colonies began receiving news. Miners on Europa, engineers on Mars, scientists on Alpha Centauri, civilians across space stations, all heard the same message. "The Zervani betrayed our friends. Now they come for us." Alina stood at the observation deck of the ISS Valor, watching the stars. Her engineer walked up beside her. "You think they'll hit us next?" She nodded. "Yes, but they don't know who we are." Meanwhile, in the dark coldness of space, the Zervani Empire celebrated. On a command ship above the destroyed remains of Arcos 3, High Commander Zivax smiled. "Earth will hesitate, They are weak. Emotional, he said, raising a glass. An aide approached. Sir, we intercepted the Silent Wind's message. Earth knows. Zyvax paused. Let them know, it won't matter. But deep inside he wondered, what if Earth did fight back? Back on Earth, in a secret underground hangar, General Voss entered. A sealed chamber. Inside were 6 massive ships, hidden projects, unseen for decades. Activate Project Hammerfall, he said. In space, near the edge of human territory, something stirred. It wasn't fear. It wasn't panic. It was anger. And behind that anger was fire. Asterisk. The video played on a large screen in the Earth Defense Command Center. Smoke, fire, screams, alien. Buildings, Terralith homes were burning. Blue-skinned civilians ran through the streets. Some carried children. Others collapsed, their bodies turning to ash under beams of red light. Zervani soldiers stood calmly in the chaos. Their armor was black and sharp, their faces cold and unfeeling. Then came the voice. This is Commander Elias Grant. Silent Wind. We saw it. The Zervani betrayed the Terraliths. This is not a battle, it's extermination. Static. Distant screams. Then silence. General Voss turned off the footage. The room stayed quiet. President Hale looked around the war table. This was not war, she said. This was a message. They wanted us to see it, Alina Ray added, her voice low. They wanted us scared, General Voss growled. But I say we make them regret it. Another council member shook his head. We can't just rush into battle, we need proof. Solid proof, not just one video. Voss slammed his fist on the table. How much more proof do you need? They murdered an entire race, President Hale stood. We act. But we act smart. Find more evidence. And bring the Terraliths' voices to the galaxy. The next day, a signal was detected from the edge of the Arcos system. Another Terralith transmission, said the comms officer on the ISS Valor. But this one is different. It's from a deep shelter, buried beneath the capital city ruins. Patch it through, Alina ordered. A soft voice echoed through the speakers. If anyone hears this, we are still alive. This is Loro Mian, Terralith diplomat. We hid underground, no food, no light. Please help us. Alina's eyes widened. Send it to Earth, now. 3 rescue ships were dispatched. No weapons, no flags, just speed and silence. They landed quietly near the ruins of Arcos 3, scanning the surface for heat signatures. Commander, said a rescue pilot, we found them, 27 survivors. Starving, weak, but alive, and among them was Loro Mian. She was brought aboard the medical ship, barely able to walk. Her eyes were tired, her skin cracked and pale. Thank you, she whispered as Alina knelt beside her. They said you wouldn't come. We always come, Alina said. Now tell us what happened. Loro's voice was weak, but her words were sharp. The Zervani came as friends. They brought us gifts. They offered protection. We trusted them. Tears formed in her eyes. Then they ordered our leaders to surrender all defense systems. They said it was for safety. We obeyed. She looked away. The next day, the skies turned red. Their ships opened fire. They called it cleansing. They killed anyone who resisted. Alina's jaw tightened. Why? Loro's voice broke. Because we refused to help them fight Earth. They wanted us to spy on you. We said no. Back on Earth, Loro's recorded testimony was broadcast to every major planet and colony. The galaxy listened as she described the betrayal, the executions, the fire that fell from the skies. Terralith children burned in their sleep, elders shot. In the streets, no weapon, no army. Just fear, she said. Earth citizens cried. Many were angry. Some volunteered for service within the hour. In a secret lab under Mars Base Prime. Dr. Kenzo watched the footage in silence. "We can't let this happen again," he said to his assistant. "What do we do?" He turned toward a sealed chamber. Marked Black 13, "We finished the project." Meanwhile, in the dark halls of the Zervani High Council, a meeting took place. "Our actions are known," said one general. "So what?" replied the Zervani Emperor, his voice full of pride. "Let the humans cry. We crushed one weak race. We can crush another." "But humans are different," said another voice quietly. The Emperor scoffed. "They are emotional, undisciplined. We control logic. They won't stand a chance." But even he looked uncertain. At a hidden orbital station above Neptune, Earth's navy gathered in silence. Thousands of soldiers stood in formation, young, old, male, female, civilian volunteers. General Voss addressed them, somewhere out there. "Our friends were burned alive because they believed in peace, because they trusted the wrong side." He paused. "Now they trust us, and we won't fail them." Cheers echoed through the station. President Halle gave one final order that day: "Let the galaxy hear every scream, every story, every truth. And when the time comes, let the stars burn for what was done." In the ruins of Arcos 3, a young Terralith child stood beside a human soldier. "Will they come back?" the child asked. The soldier looked at the sky. "Maybe. Will you protect us?" He smiled softly. "We're not going anywhere." A dark room, a single screen. Lines of code flashing in silence. Agent Riven sat alone, his fingers flying across the keyboard. He wasn't a soldier. He wasn't a hero. He was a ghost in the system, Earth's best spy. And right now, he was deep inside the Zervani network. His mission: find the truth. Expose the lies. "Come on. Show me your secrets," he whispered. A new file opened. His eyes narrowed. Inside it was a list: coordinates, dates, military plans. But one line stood out: "Terralith operation complete. Human surveillance begins." Riven's heart skipped. They planned this. "And we're next," he said softly. He tapped a command. The data streamed to Earth's command. Then the alarms went off. A red pulse flashed across his screen. He'd been detected. "Trace in progress," the system warned. He had less than 60 seconds. "Get him out of there," shouted Alina Ray, watching from Earth's CyberOps command. "Connection's breaking," said the technician. "We're losing him." "Riven, if you can hear me, extract now." Alina said into the mic. Back in orbit near the edge of Zervani space, Riven ripped the chip from his console and stuffed it into his coat. He ran through the narrow corridors of a fake Zervani cargo ship. Alarms blared. Zervani guards rushed in. "Stop the human," one shouted. Blaster shots flew past him. He dove behind crates, returned fire, then sprinted to the escape pod. The hatch slammed shut. He hit the launch button. The pod flew through asteroid fields and sensor-blocking clouds. Hours later, it was picked up by the ISS Valor. When Riven stepped out, his face was pale, lips cracked, eyes wild. "You have no idea what I saw," he said. In Earth's war room, the council gathered again. Riven stood before them, tired but alive. "They were never peaceful," he said. "The Zervani created a plan years ago. They used the Terraliths as a test. Destroy them, and watch how Earth reacts." General Voss leaned forward. "So this was a trap?" Riven nodded. "They expected fear, delay, weakness. They even called Earth the emotional species. They don't understand us at all." Voss growled. President Halle asked, "What else did you find?" Riven opened the chip. A hologram appeared. "Zervani generals discussing Earth. Let them believe we are civilized. Let them trust. Then when their guard is down, crush them. They have allies, burn them. They show mercy, take advantage. Their kindness is our weapon." The room went silent. "They're playing a long game," Alina said. "But we've seen their hand." That night, A secret meeting was held on Titan Base. A group of Earth's best minds, military officers, scientists, hackers sat in a sealed chamber. "We're not going to fight like they expect," General Voss said. "We'll use their plan." "Against them," added Dr. Kenzo. "We fake peace," Alina said. "Pretend we're backing off. Let them feel safe. Then when they least expect, we strike hard." The Zervani, meanwhile, had begun their next phase. Ambassadors arrived at Earth stations, smiling with fake concern. "We regret the confusion," one said to a human official. "It was a misunderstanding. The Terraliths were unstable." "We seek peace with Earth," said another. "We value your strength and leadership." Lies, but Earth smiled back. "Of course," President Hale said during a press conference. "Peace is always our goal." Underneath the stage, hidden wires transmitted everything to Earth's fleet-coded orders, attack schedules, movement of ships. Aboard the Zervani command vessel, High Commander Zivax watched the Earth response. "They believe us," he said, but his advisor was uneasy. "There is something strange. Their fleet's too quiet. No movement." "They are afraid," Zivax said with confidence. But deep down, a seed of doubt grew. Back on Earth, Alina stood in a dark hangar. Before her stood something massive, a warship shaped like a blade, hidden from satellites. Its name, Retribution. "Is it ready?" she asked the engineer. "Fully armed. Faster than anything in their fleet. And the crew?" "Volunteers only," the engineer said. "Every single one of them lost someone on Arcos." Alina looked up at the ship. "Then they'll make the Zervani remember every scream." 1 week later, Earth sent a message to the galaxy. Public. Open. Calm. Earth has accepted the Zervani's apology. We will not escalate. Peace is restored. The galaxy sighed with relief. But the real message was hidden, inside a single punctuation. Marconet broadcast a tiny shift in code was a command. Every Earth warship, from Mercury to the Outer Rim, received it at the same second. The time for silence was over. Zervani. Ships guarding Sector Epsilon detected no movement. Then came the shadows. Human warships decloaked. They fired before the Zervani could even react. In 30 seconds, an entire fleet was gone. Similar attacks struck 5 more sectors. By the time Zervani High Command responded, Earth had destroyed 1/3 of their outer defense line. Panic spread through Zervani ranks. "They lied. They tricked us. Earth set a trap. Who are these humans?" Back on the ISS Valor, Alina watched the battle logs come in. Clean hits. "No losses," her officer said. Alina nodded. "They trusted." "Lies, we trusted eyes." A quiet hum filled the dark room. Holograms hovered in the air maps, enemy movements, strike zones. Commander Alina Ray stood at the center of the command deck on the ISS Retribution. She stared at the enemy fleet spread across Zervani sector. Theta. They had no idea what was coming. "Is the fleet ready?" she asked calmly. "Yes, Commander," said Lieutenant Aaron. "All ships are in position. Stealth mode engaged. Weapons hot." Alina nodded. "Then give the order. Operation Dawnlight begins." 2 weeks earlier, Earth had sent fake peace messages to the galaxy. Zervani leaders believed it. They relaxed their borders. They lowered shields. They even laughed. They were smart enough to fool the Terraliths. Alina had told President Hale during a secret meeting, "But they still think humans are soft." The president's answer was cold. "Then let's show them what softness turns into. When you push it too far." At exactly 0400 Earth Standard Time, the ISS Hammerfall decloaked near the Zervani border colony of Myrix II. This colony was a major supply base fuel, food, weapons, even prisoners. Inside the control room of the colony, a Zervani officer yawned. "Still nothing?" he asked the technician. "Humans haven't moved in weeks," the technician replied. "Cowards." Suddenly, alarm screamed. A bright light filled the sky. Ship incoming. The technician shouted, "It's human, it's huge." Before they could react, a rail cannon shot tore through the colony's shield tower. The second shot hit the main energy core. In under 12 minutes, Myrix 2 was gone. Across space, 6 more. Earth ships uncloaked near Zorvani stations. They struck hard and fast, targeting communication hubs and fuel depots. The Zorvani fleet scrambled to respond, but their ships were slow, scattered, and poorly coordinated. Where are they even hitting us from? A Zorvani commander cried. From everywhere. From nowhere, on the ISS Retribution. Alina watched the operation unfold. 0 Earth losses so far, Aaron reported. Targets eliminated. Civilian areas untouched. Good, Alina replied. We're not here to burn the innocent, just the guilty. She turned to her crew. They thought we wouldn't fight. They thought we'd wait for orders. But this is our answer. The entire bridge crew stood in silence, watching Earth's justice strike through the void. The Zorvani High Council met in panic. This isn't war, it's extermination, shouted one general. The Emperor slammed his hand on the table. I want our main fleet mobilized, now. But they're not ready, another leader said. They've grown lazy, undisciplined. The Emperor's eyes narrowed. Then tell them to wake up, or die in their sleep. Back on the edge of Sector 11, a human strike team landed on a hidden Zorvani intelligence base. Their mission: retrieve prisoner logs and evidence of the Terralith slaughter. The base was deep underground, guarded by robotic sentries and security drones. Sergeant Leo Morgan led the team. He was calm, sharp, and deadly. Eyes up. Stay close. Take only what we came for, he whispered into his cum. They moved through tight corridors, disabling guards one by one. Got the files, his tech expert said. They recorded everything. The executions, the orders, Leo smiled grimly. Then let's show the galaxy what monsters look like. As they left the base, a bomb planted on the core lit up behind them, erasing the facility. A day later, Earth broadcasted the recovered Zorvani files across all galactic channels. Planets watched in horror. Zorvani leaders, caught on video joking about burning Terralith children. Generals laughing as cities turned to ash. Earth's message, played afterward: this is why we strike. Not for power, not for territory, but for truth. Aboard the Zorvani Fleet Command vessel, Commander Trelix paced nervously. They're too fast. Too precise, he said. They are just humans, another officer replied. No, Trelix said, looking out the viewport. They're angry humans. That's different. The war was now real. And Earth was not just fighting. It was winning. At a celebration on Mars base, civilians and military gathered to honor the crews of the first strike. Families held signs. Children waved flags. Survivors from Arcos 3 stood with new hope in their eyes. President Holly stepped forward. They wanted us afraid, she said. But we answered with courage. She pointed toward the stars. And we're not finished yet. Later that night, Alina sat alone on the Retribution's bridge, staring out at the stars. Was it too much? Aaron asked, walking in. No. She said, not after what they did. He nodded. Then what's next? She took a breath. We go deeper. The stars above Saturn were silent. Not a single ship moved. Not a signal. Not a sound. But hidden just behind the thick rings, something massive waited. Something built in secret. Something built for one reason, only to protect Earth when all else failed. It was called the Black Shield. Commander Alina Ray stood on the command bridge of the ISS Retribution, staring at the live feed. A strange pulse had just been detected near Earth's edge. One of the deep space scanners had picked up a spike in energy. Could be natural, said Aaron, her tactical officer. Maybe solar flare activity. Or maybe they're testing us again, Alina replied. Send the signal to Black Shield Command. I want eyes on every star. Black Shield Command was located inside a hollow moon orbiting Saturn. No one knew about it. Not the public, not the press. Not even most of Earth's military. Only a few officers had clearance. One of them was Captain Nora Vance. She stood in a black and silver uniform, deep beneath layers of armor and shielding. Watching the holographic map. Energy spike confirmed, her operator said. Unknown source. Could be cloaked ships. Activate shield grid beta, Nora ordered. Across the moon's surface, enormous panels unfolded. They were invisible to normal sight, bending light, masking heat, and between them, dozens of advanced weapons-powered up-rail cannons, gravity traps, pulse disruptors. This wasn't just a wall. It was a trap, out in deep space. A massive Zervani fleet moved silently toward Earth. It had been launched in secret 50 warships, invisible, built for one mission: strike Earth directly and end the war before it grew worse. Is Earth ready for this? One Zorvani commander asked. They're arrogant, replied High Commander Trelix. They think they've already won. We hit fast, they break. Simple. The ships moved past Neptune without being seen. Then they crossed into Saturn's orbit. Nothing happened. No alarms. No attacks. Until ... One of the ships suddenly exploded. What was that? A Zervani officer shouted. I don't know. Some kind of invisible mine? Another cried. Before they could react, 3 more ships vanished, sucked into invisible whirlpools of gravity. Then, the space around them lit up. Dozens of Earth warships uncloaked. And from the moon itself, the Black Shield activated. A conga. Deep sound echoed through space. A hum so powerful it shook the Zervani ship's engines. Shields are failing, screamed the enemy pilots. Earth was ready, they knew. Inside Black Shield Command, Captain Nora Vance gave calm, clear orders. Target ship clusters. Fire in waves. Use pulse delay to confuse their AI. On her screen, Zervani vessels spun out of control, crashing into each other as systems failed. They can't even see what's hitting them, her gunner said. They don't need to, Nora replied. They just need to die. On the ISS Retribution, Alina watched the feed with cold focus. The trap worked, Aaron said. They walked right into it, Alina nodded. End it quickly, no prisoners. No escape. In orbit above Saturn, the battle lasted less than 1 hour. Of the 50 Zervani warships, only 2 managed to retreat. One was badly damaged, the other was captured. Inside that ship, Earth soldiers found something strange, a device, not a weapon. A message pod. Alina ordered it opened carefully. Inside was a recording. It showed a secret Zervani meeting. The voice of Emperor Zyron played. If Earth strikes again, we use the override. They won't see it coming. What is the override? Aaron asked. I don't know, Alina said. But now we need to find out fast. Back at Earth Command, President Holly stood before the council. We knew they'd try something big, she said. But this? A full-scale sneak attack? General Voss replied. They underestimated us again. They didn't know about the Black Shield, but now they will, the president said. So the next strike... it'll be worse. She turned to Alina's image on the screen. Find out what the override is. And stop it. That night, deep inside the wreckage of one Zervani escape pod, Earth's tech teams worked to decode the ship's logs. What's this? One engineer asked. A location, said the AI assistant. Coordinates in deep Zervani space. Unregistered. Hidden, the engineer called it in. Alina looked at the data. Then that's where we go next. Far away, in the Zervani capital, Emperor Zyron sat alone in his chamber. The Black Shield, he whispered. So, the humans were planning ahead. He stood and walked to a dark console. Then it's time, he said. placing his hand on a red button. Activate override. Back on Earth, alarms began to ring. Power grids flickered. Communications cut out. Satellites went blind. A cold silence spread through space, and a message blinked on every Earthship screen. Override initiated. Countdown, 72 hours. Earth cities were alive with tension. Alarms echoed through the streets, lights flashed in homes, and people stared at their screens, waiting for news. Commander Alina Ray stood at the center of Earth's global defense hub, eyes sharp, hands steady. The clock on the wall ticked down less than 24 hours until the Zervani override countdown ended. Status report. She demanded. Lieutenant Aaron, monitoring dozens of data streams, frowned. Power grids are flickering. Communications are unstable. Satellites keep losing signal. Is the override hacking our systems? Alina asked. We're seeing viruses in the network. It's like someone is pulling strings from inside, Aaron answered. Alina's jaw clenched. How long until it reaches the critical systems? Maybe 6 hours. Maybe less, Aaron said quietly. In the underground tunnels beneath New York, civilians scrambled for shelter. Families held hands, children cried, and emergency crews worked fast. Across the Pacific, engineers in the Tokyo Control Center fought to keep the city's power steady. We won't give up, one shouted, fingers flying over consoles. Meanwhile, deep in space, Earth's warships scrambled. General Voss was on the bridge of the ISS Retribution, barking orders. Keep shields up, protect the satellites. We need eyes in the sky. Suddenly, the ship's systems flickered, lights dimmed, weapons cooled. Override is reaching us. The communications officer warned. Voss slammed his fist on the console. Fight it. Use backup systems. Don't let them win. Back on Earth, President Hawley addressed the world in a live broadcast. My fellow citizens, she said, voice calm but firm, today is one of our darkest days. The enemy has launched a cyber attack unlike any we have seen. Our systems are under siege. But I promise you, Earth will not fall. In a secret lab on Mars, Dr. Kenzo worked with his team to isolate the override source. We found it, said an engineer. Deep in the Zervani communications network, hidden AI designed to take control of our systems. Can we stop it? Kenzo asked. It adapts fast, the engineer replied. We're running out of time. Kenzo's fingers danced over the keyboard. We have to fight fire with fire. Alina's cum crackled. Commander, sensors detect multiple Zervani fleets moving toward Earth. Prepare for attack, she said. The override is a distraction. They want to hit us physically while we're weak. As night fell, Earth's skies lit up. Fighter ships streaked across the horizon. Explosions shook cities. But Earth's defenses held. On the ISS Retribution, Alina stared at the battle map. We're losing satellites. Our power is unstable. But the fleets, they're struggling to break through our black shield. Aaron nodded. The override slowed us down, but it didn't break us. Suddenly, alarms blared. Multiple Zervani bombers detected in low orbit. The radar officer shouted, Deploy. Interceptors. Alina ordered. In the chaos, a young Terralith refugee named Loro stood with human soldiers in a makeshift bunker. Will Earth survive? She asked quietly. One soldier smiled. We've survived worse. We're not alone. The battle raged through the night. Zervani bombers dropped plasma charges. Earth's missile defense systems fired back, creating a fiery shield. Explosions lit the sky like stars falling. At one point, the override hit the main power grid in London. Lights died. Emergency generators kicked in. People gasped, but didn't panic. By dawn, Earth still stood. Alina collapsed into her chair, exhausted but determined. General Voss clapped her on the back. We held them. The black shield worked. Alina shook her head. It was close, too close. But we survived, Voss smiled. The president addressed the world again. Today, Earth faced fire and almost burned. But humanity's spirit is stronger than any attack, she paused. And we will fight. We will win. In the aftermath, Dr. Kenzo's team finally isolated the override AI and destroyed it. A message was sent to the galaxy. Earth will not fall. We will defend our homes, our people, and our friends. The meeting room inside Earth's Defense Corps was silent, cold. The air felt heavy. A red warning light flashed on the walls. A single word glowed across every screen. Annihilation protocol initiated. Commander Alina Ray stood in the center, staring at the hologram of the Zorvani fleet moving toward Earth. How many? She asked without emotion. 5,000 warships, replied General Voss. All armed. All coming fast. They're not coming to conquer this time, said Alina. They want to erase us. Voss nodded. Total destruction. They failed with the override. Failed with the bombers. Now they're bringing everything. A young officer stepped forward. Should we prepare the evacuation routes? Alina turned slowly. There will be no evacuation. Earth is not falling today. Above the planet, Earth's remaining satellites flickered online. The Black Shield, though damaged, was operational. Planetary cannons locked onto incoming signals. Across military bases, soldiers readied weapons. Pilots climbed into their ships. Civilians were moved to underground shelters. President Halle appeared on every screen. This is humanity's final stand, she said calmly. They are not giving us peace. So we will show them what happens when humans are pushed too far. We will use everything. She paused. The protocol is no longer a threat. It is a promise. The Zorvani fleet entered Earth's orbit. Massive. Dark ships shaped like metal daggers dot inside the lead vessel. High Admiral Nrax grinned. They resist like insects. But now we burn their hive. His second-in-command raised an eyebrow. The humans still have weapons. They are desperate, Nrax hissed. And desperation is weakness. But what Nrax didn't know was this. Humans had activated something far older than their current warships. Deep in a hidden base under Antarctica. An ancient vault opened for the first time in 50 years. A team of scientists, guarded by elite soldiers, stood before a giant machine, black, sharp, humming with power. Project Thanatos, whispered one of them. Built for extinction-level threats. General Voss's voice echoed through the chamber. Release it. The machine lit up, shaking the ground. High above, Earth's skies tore open, not from attack, but from power. The Thanatos warform, a planet-sized AI construct, rose from the ice like a mechanical god. Its body was made of obsidian metal, glowing with red circuits. Inside the control hub, Alina sat, strapped in. I'm in position, she said through gritted teeth. Let's see if this monster works. The Zorvani fleet halted. What is that? Nrax growled. It's not a ship, his second said. It's something else. Thanatos opened its chest. A beam of pure energy shot forward, cutting through 3 Zorvani warships in one blast. Alina narrowed her eyes. That's for New York. The Earth forces joined in. Hundreds of fighter jets swarmed. Missile silos launched from hidden forests. Orbital cannons fired like thunder. Still, the Zorvani kept coming. They hit Earth's orbit with force. Explosions lit the sky. Thousands died in seconds. But Earth didn't break down in the chaos. A Zorvani stealth team landed near a power grid in Berlin. A human squad spotted them. Lieutenant Cruz raised his weapon. You picked the wrong city. Blaster fire lit the alley. One by one, the invaders fell. Cruz shouted, "Protect the grid." No power loss. Inside the Thanatos core, Alina winced. The machine was powerful but not stable. We're overheating. Shouted one tech. Let it burn, she said. We go down, they go down first. She launched another blast. 10 ships vanished. Nrax watched in fury. Retreat is not allowed. But sir, we're losing half the fleet. Then we die like warriors. Suddenly, an unexpected signal appeared. It was human, but distorted. A voice came through. This is Captain Mira Lorne. I'm inside the enemy flagship. Everyone went silent. Mira? Alina asked. You disappeared months ago. I was taken. I escaped. And I found something. They have a weakness in their command bridge. Give me 5 minutes. Inside the Zervani flagship, Mira ran through smoke-filled corridors. She wore damaged armor, her face burned, eyes fierce. She planted charges on the central AI core. The Zervani guards noticed too late. She smiled. This one's for Earth. The explosion lit up the enemy bridge. Nrax screamed. His ship spiraled, crashing into 2 others. In space, the Zervani fleet began to collapse. Without command, many ships lost coordination. Thanatos launched its final blast. 20 ships gone in one shot. Alina gave the final order. Push them back. Finish it. One by one, Earth's fighters destroyed the last of the invaders. By the end of the battle, space above Earth was filled with wreckage, smoke, and silence. President Hale stood again before the world. The Annihilation Protocol wasn't just a defense, it was a warning. And now they know we are not prey. Alina stepped out of the Thanatos core, shaking. Voss helped her stand. We almost lost everything. But we didn't, she replied. And what about Mira? He asked. Message blinked on her screen. Still alive, still fighting. I'll see you soon. Alina smiled. Smoke still floated in space. Giant wrecks of Zervani warships orbited Earth like broken bones. The war was over. The skies were quiet. But no one on Earth was celebrating, not yet. Inside Earth's global command, the atmosphere was heavy. Soldiers stood still. Screens blinked with reports. The war had ended with Earth's victory, but questions remained. Where are the survivors? Asked President Hale as she entered the war room. They're running, replied General Voss. The last of the Zervani are hiding, scattered, broken. Hale looked at the empty space on the star map. And their council? She asked. Commander Alina stepped forward. We've located the High Council's hidden station. The one that gave the kill order. We intercepted the command logs. We have proof. The room fell silent. So now, Hale said, the galaxy waits for our answer. 3 days later, a massive transmission was sent across all known systems. Every advanced species watched their screens in silence as the message began. The video showed Earth's capital, rebuilt and burning with new life. Then it cut to a courtroom, metal, circular, floating in orbit around Mars. Inside were 7 members of the Galactic High Council. And across from them stood a human woman, Commander Alina Ray. Her voice was calm. You gave the order. You told your fleets to destroy Earth. You called us a threat. You wanted us gone, not for what we did, but for what we might become. One of the alien counselors, a tall insectoid with 4 eyes, leaned forward. We believed it was a necessary step. A necessary step? Alina repeated. You bombed our cities. You betrayed our allies. You kidnapped our people, all in secret. And now, when your fleets are destroyed, you say it was necessary? Another counselor, a pale, plant-like being, spoke. We only wanted to keep the galaxy in balance. Alina narrowed her eyes. Balance built on fear isn't balance, it's control. Behind her, Mira Lorne stood silently. She had survived the enemy flagship, burned and injured, but alive. She now wore a simple black uniform, no medals, no titles. Only her presence mattered. President Hale's voice came through the speakers, addressing the council directly. Humanity was quiet. We didn't reach out to conquer. We offered peace, trade, alliance. But you saw our growth and panicked. She paused. then said 3 words that shook every species watching. Now it's our turn. Panic erupted across the galaxy. Planets that once ignored Earth now begged for talks. Species that mocked humanity now feared them. Because Earth wasn't asking for revenge. They were asking for justice. The human verdict. Trials began. Every member of the Zervani High Command was brought in, some captured, some surrendering, some dragged out of hiding. Each trial was broadcast live. Humanity didn't hide anything. They showed the crimes, the victims, the evidence. Mira spoke during the 3rd trial. Her voice cracked as she described the torture, the darkness, the days of silence in the alien prison. I begged for death, she said, but I held on because I knew we'd fight back. And now we're here. The Zervani general stared at her, broken. I was following orders. So was I, Mira said. And I still chose right. Some of the galaxy wanted mercy. Others expected humanity to fall into rage and destroy everything. But Earth did something different. They judged, fairly, firmly, without hate, but with truth. And then came the final session, the last of the Galactic Council stood trial. The ones who signed the first betrayal, they sat still, chained, humiliated. Alina faced them. You wanted to silence Earth, but your silence spoke louder than any weapon. The council leader whispered, "What do you want from us now?" Alina looked around, at the screens, at the watching stars. Then answered, "We want you to remember this day. Not in fear, but in understanding. We are human. We are not perfect. But if you betray us again, you won't get a second trial." The final verdicts were given. Some counselors were sentenced to life, in neutral zones. Others were exiled to uninhabited systems. A few were released to spread the truth that no one was executed. That was the part that shocked the galaxy most. Not Earth's strength, but Earth's restraint. As Alina walked out of the courtroom, reporters swarmed. "What happens now?" One asked. "Now," she said, "we rebuild, we watch, we protect." "And the galaxy?" She stopped, turned, and answered, "They'll think twice before crossing Earth again." That night, across Earth, people lit candles. Not in sorrow, but in memory. They remembered the lost cities, the broken lives, the brave sacrifices. Children in shelters looked up at the stars without fear. Because now, they knew, if danger ever returned, humanity would be ready.